Hi, Beth here. I'm going to show you how to make this adorable watermelon table topper. I love this project for summer because not only is it so cute, but it is so quick to put together because it's quilt-as-you-go. So as you're piecing the top, you're also quilting it. So once you're done with that, bind it and it's ready to put on your table. Let's get started. So first you'll want to print out all your pattern pieces and assemble. So you are doing this as like a quarter circle and then placing it on a fold to make the semicircle shape. So I'll show you what that looks like once you've put that together. So you will need a pretty big paper for this. So that, you place it on the fold, cut that out, and then that's your pattern A. Then you cut off the gray part and make a slightly smaller, and that's the pattern B. Next, you'll take your pattern A and you'll cut your backing and your batting fabric to that pattern size. And we're going to layer this with right side down and then our batting on top. And now we can start layering our red strips. So I've laid out my 32 1.5 inch strips on my table in the order that I'd like them to be on my watermelon. And I'm going to find the center of the backing and batting piece by folding it in half. Then I'm going to mark that with a pin. So with the Quilt-As-You-Go method, you start in the middle and work your way out. So then you'll take your center two pieces and you'll put your first one right side up, lined up with that pin in the middle. And then your second piece is going to go right side down. Now that we're getting ready to sew, I have switched out my regular foot for the walking foot. I do like to use this when I'm quilting through multiple layers. It just helps everything feed through evenly. And Eversewn makes this great quilting foot accessory kit that comes with the walking foot guides and a few other feet that are really helpful for your quilting. Another nice feature of this Eversewn machine is that it does have a 3-stage presser foot. This is really cool. So it has down, and then up, and then also a little extra up. So if you need a little more room to maneuver when you're getting, your bulky things under there, you can get a little extra clearance, which is really helpful. All right, so now I'm getting ready to sew my 1/4 inch. Once you've sewn those, you can open up the strip and finger press, or you can even take that over to your ironing board. And then you can add the next strip. So that's going to go lined up with this one. And then again, right sides together, and you'll sew a 1/4 inch down that one, and you can just continue adding strips all the way out to the ends of your watermelon shape. So once you've sewn all your strips, you can go ahead and cut this out to pattern B. And if these tails are getting in your way as you go, you can go ahead and trim those while you're sewing. So I'll show you the back here. So now you can see that we've got that all quilted, and I did use white thread. Now you could use green too if you would like that to blend in a little bit more. I think it's probably going to be easier to center this pattern on the back and then trim from the back. So I would line up the center of the pattern with your center seam and then trim from there. So here's a tip for cutting out using a template. When you're pinning, put your head toward the center of your pattern. That way when you're cutting around the outside, you're not going to run into that bulk of the head. Once you have all your pins in place, when you're cutting with your scissors around the shape, keep your project as close to the table as possible. That way you're not moving it and getting it all stretched out, and you can get a nicer cut. And then on the straight cut, you could go ahead and use a rotary cutter on that, just a little bit faster. So once you have that all cut out, look how cute that is. It's so fun. So you'll take your red strip for binding and sew that onto the front and then hand stitch that to the back. Once you've finished hand sewing that to the back, you can trim this evenly with the ends, and then we're going to use our green and white binding to go around the rest of the watermelon shape. So this is a fun binding. It is pieced so that we have the green on the back, and then we have a little bit of the green and the white showing on the front to give it a little bit of a rind look. So when you're sewing this binding on, my tip would be make sure to set your machine in the needle down position. So when you're stopping and going around these curves and to rotate and get things situated, your needle is in the down position and it's not going to shift on you. So stop with the needle down and then reposition as needed. So once you've sewn that green binding on by machine, turn it around to the front, stitch it down by hand, and you're ready to have a super fun summer party.